Good morning. It's so nice to see all of you. Welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Toledo, this April 21st, 2024. I'm Pam Simmons, today's service associate. Judy Lee Troutman will lead our annual Green Sanctuary service today. The music today is provided by guest musician Randall Ritchie, joined by the First Unitarian Choir, someplace in my script. Ginny Gottman will present the story. Tomorrow is Earth Day 2024, and today's service focuses on our Green Sanctuary certification and the critical issues of protecting our Blue Boat home. We are a church with no doctrine or official creed. Instead, we covenant to support each other in our individual search for truth and meaning. We welcome everyone as we sang in our opening song. If you're a visitor, you may notice in the pew rack in front of you a bookmark with our principles and sources. Feel free to take it with you. There's also a yellow card, this one, a yellow card that you may use to introduce yourself to us. If you include your email address, we will send you our weekly email with news of our various activities. As you meet people today, feel free to introduce yourself and ask anything that you'd like to know. Feel free. We also welcome those of you who are joining us virtually on our YouTube channel this morning, made possible by David Strickler, Jeff Slauson, and director Walter McGee, the tech crew. Later in the service, I will encourage you to attend our coffee conversation social hour in Fellowship Hall after the conclusion of this service, and there are usually goodies there too besides coffee. It is one of the perks of making the Sunday service a regular in your schedule when you get to attend in person.
Good morning. I'm Judy Lee Troutman, member of this church and vice chair of the Social Justice Committee. For many years, I've led the service for Green Sanctuary. I try to give some inspirational words at the beginning of my sermon. We have twice performed an original musical called Creation, a sequel. I have shared words by many environmental activists and some of the latest environmental science news. Then I share what First Unitarian Church is doing to continue our Green Sanctuary certification goals, and I urge us all to recommit to better caring for our Blue Boat home. Now, as Pam lights the chalice, let us all say the words for lighting we are using throughout this coming year. We are Unitarian Universalists with minds that think, hearts that love, and hands that are ready to serve. Together, we care for our earth and work for friendship and peace in our world. Please join me in reciting our covenant. The words may be found in your order of service. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. These are some of the concerns on our hearts, our minds, and spirits this morning. It is hard not to be deeply troubled by the wars in our Blue Boat home. We hear most news about the war in Ukraine and in Israel and Palestine, but there are some 35 armed conflicts in Africa, and there are armed conflicts in Asia and Haiti. Certainly, these wars have caused much human grief and suffering, and war may be the largest polluter. In the US, in 2023, there were 632 mass shootings. Now, a mass shooting is when there are at least 4 victims. Almost 5,000 people have died in US gun violence so far in 2024. 5,000. Our government seems powerless to address this gun violence, and our government is so sharply divided that it barely functions at all on some issues. The pandemic had lessons for us about our interdependence with each other as humans and with all the Earth's inhabitants. Most of us realized how much we missed and needed each other. For a while, much of our consumption and ill treatment of our Mother Earth stopped, and nature visibly restored itself. Our megacities saw much less pollution. The Himalayas were visible from Delhi for the first time in decades. Now, as we inch out of pandemic isolation, it is distressing to see that the lessons didn't hold. Some people are so angry about their lost freedoms that they are taking it out on servers and driving at reckless speeds in neighborhood streets. Some of the policies that we formerly used to reduce waste and our carbon footprint have not returned, and our planet home suffers. On a brighter note, most of us recently experienced the total eclipse on April 8th. I was so happy about the number of public gatherings to celebrate this rare and awe-inspiring phenomenon. I chose not to drive, but I watched on my airing deck at home. I was not isolated because I could see my neighbors also watching, and I heard them cheering at totality. It was such a happy opportunity for community on both small and large bases. One of my pagan friends posted that she felt a shift, hope dawning. For a moment in time, our focus was on the moon and the sun, a shared experience outside of ourselves. For a moment, we saw something much greater than our own egos. So this morning, we are aware of horror and grief, but also awe and wonder, and perhaps hope. Some among us are experiencing health challenges, personal family conflicts, loss. Yet there are also reasons to celebrate: new births, academic and career successes. We hold all in our hearts. You might have your own items for meditation and contemplation and prayer during this service, so we include the unsaid here as we are in community. We can share burdens and be glad for accomplishments. We are a part of the independent web of all existence.
Good morning. Once upon a time, there lived a rich and vain young squire. Servants prepared his favorite foods for him each day. His every wish was granted. One of the young man's favorite things to do was go into the woods and hunt small animals for fun. He thought the woods and all its creatures belonged to him and that he could do as he pleased with them. The people in the village had a different opinion. They believed that the woods provided a home to all the animals that lived there: chipmunks and squirrels, rabbits and deer, raccoons, and even wild pigs. The villagers told their children a story about a green man who lived in the woods, who watched out for children and watched out for the animals, and the villagers faithfully left out food for the green man on cold winter nights. One day in autumn, the squire decided to go on a hunt. He called all of his servants to saddle up their horses, and they rode through the woods. They trampled nests and dens as they went, and they sent dogs ahead of them to chase the small animals out of their homes so that they could be hunted easily. After a time, the squire became separated from his servants, and he was searching for them when he came upon a nice pond. "How clever of me to have a pond in the woods to refresh myself," he said. The young man removed all of his fine clothing, his shoes, his hat, his jacket, his shirt, his pants, and his socks. He folded his clothes and laid them neatly on the edge of the pond, and then he jumped into the cool water. He was swimming and splashing away, and unbeknownst to him, a hand reached out from behind a tree and took his clothing and led his horse away. When the squire got out of the water, he discovered that he had nothing there to wear except for a piece of rope. He took the rope and fastened some leaves to it to make a cover-up, and when his hunting party eventually came looking for them, he was too embarrassed to go out and meet them. So he hid. At night, he went looking for some shelter, and he stumbled into a cave. He didn't sleep much that night. He was cold, and the woods made noises that kept him afraid. In the morning, when the daylight came, he saw that he was not alone in the cave. There was a goat there, and a chicken, and a gourd for holding water. Someone had been living in that cave. He found some grass for the goat to eat, and he found some seeds for the chicken. He discovered some grains in the cave that he could eat as well, and over time, he settled into life in the cave. He created a whole robe out of leaves. He ate eggs from the hen and drank milk from the goat. He covered his hands with mud to protect them and reached into beehives to take honey. He became acquainted with all the small woodland animals, and he cared for them, helping them over rushing streams when heavy rains fell. One day, he came upon two small children trapped by a wild pig who looked like he was ready to bite. When he had chased the pig off, the children looked at him. There he was, covered from head to toe in leaves, with mud covering his hands and a wild-looking beard and wild hair. "Are you the green man?" they asked. "I guess I am," said the man, who no longer looked anything like a squire. When winter came, the green man was happy to go into the village at night and find the food that the villagers had left for him, and he shared it with his animal friends. And a year passed peacefully, until one autumn day when a hunting party came into the woods. The green man hid behind a tree to watch them. A rich young woman, a squire perhaps, became separated from her hunting party and decided to take a swim in the clear, cool pond. Like the man had, she left her clothes folded up beside the pond, and as happened a year ago, the green man reached his hand out, took her clothes, and took her horse, leaving behind his garment of leaves and a coil of rope. He used a sharp rock to trim his beard and his hair, and he rode into town back to his parents' castle. The end. So, children, you should all have scorecards with you. If there's anybody who doesn't have a scorecard, raise your hand. Yeah, come here, please, my darling. Yes, that's you. Jalen, come up and grab your scorecard. Thank you, my dear. They are right here in this little blue bucket where we usually sit. I'm glad you paused your game to be here. As your shirt says, that was very cool of you. So it is time once again for you, dear children, to rate the hymn. This hymn is called Come Sing a Song With Me. Please rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 meaning that you don't like it at all, 10 meaning that you think it's great. Take the scorecard with you when you leave the sanctuary today, and I'll collect them when we get to class. And adults, don't forget, you have an opportunity to vote as well on the RE bulletin board that is on your right as you head to Fellowship Hall. Children, are you ready? Okay, here we go.
Please rise as you are willing and able for our opening hymn, number 346. Come Sing a Song With Me, and the lyrics are also on the screen. As our children and their teachers leave for religious education, let's sing them on their way. I invite you into prayer and meditation with a poem written by Nadine Ann Hura to Papatuanuku, Mother Earth. Jacinda Ardern, the Prime Minister of New Zealand, shared this poem with her people at the beginning of pandemic lockdown. I doubt that any other world leader addressed their people in such a tender and parental way. Rest now, e Papatuanuku. Breathe easy and settle right here where you are. We'll not move upon you for a while. We'll stop, we'll cease, we'll slow down and stay home. Draw each other close and be kind, kinder than we've ever been. I wish we could say we were doing it for you as much as ourselves. but we're doing it anyway. It's right. It's time. Time to return. Time to remember. Time to listen and forgive. Time to withhold judgment. Time to cry. Time to think about others. Remove our shoes. Press hands to soil. Sift grains between fingers. Gentle palms. Time to plant. Time to wait. Time to notice to whom we belong. For now, it's just you and the wind and the forests and the oceans and the sky full of rain. Finally, it's raining. Kachuru te wai kamo e rangi ki ranga I a koe. Embrace it. This sacrifice of solitude we have carved out for you. He iti no aiho, a small offering. People always said it wasn't possible to ground flights and stay home and stop our habits of consumption. But it was. It always was. We were just afraid of how much it was going to hurt, and it is hurting, and it will hurt, and continue to hurt, but not as much as you have been hurt. So be still now. Wrap your heels around our absence. Loosen the concrete belt cinched tight at your waist. Rest. Breathe. Recover. Heal. And we will do the same. Now, as we think about Mother Earth, let us observe 1 minute of silence. Blessed Spirit of my Lord, give me strength through stress and strife. Help me with dignity. Let me know serenity. Fill me with conviction. Clear my mind of fear and confusion.
The reading this morning will be excerpts from Reading Sweetgrass, Indigenous Wisdom, Scientific Knowledge, and the Teachings of Plants by Robin Wall Kimmerer. Action on behalf of life transforms because the relationship between self and the world is reciprocal. It is not a question of first getting enlightened or saved and then acting, As we work to heal the earth heals us. Knowing that you love the earth changes you, activates you to defend and protect and celebrate. But when you feel that the earth loves you in return, that feeling transforms the relationship from a one-way street into a second bond, a sacred bond. Even a wounded world is feeding us. Even a wounded world holds us, giving us moments of wonder and joy. I choose joy over despair, not because I have my head in the sand, but because joy is what the earth gives me daily, and I must return the gift. We need acts of restoration, not only for polluted waters and degraded lands, but also for our relationship to the world. We need to restore honor to the way we live, so that when we walk through the world, we don't have to avert our eyes with shame, so that we can hold our heads up high and receive the respectful acknowledgement of the rest of the earth's beings. Paying attention is a form of reciprocity with the living world, receiving the gifts with open eyes and open heart. Joanna Macy writes that until we can grieve for our planet, we cannot love it. Grieving is a sign of spiritual health. But it is not enough to weep for our lost landscapes. We have to put our hands in the earth to make ourselves whole again. Even a wounded world is feeding us. Even a wounded world holds us, giving us moments of wonder and joy. I choose joy over despair. Being naturalized to place means to live as if this is the land that feeds you, as if these are the streams from which you drink, that build your body and fill your spirit. To become naturalized is to know that your ancestors lie in this ground. Here, you will give your gifts and meet your responsibilities. To become naturalized is to live as if your children's future matters. To take care of the land as if our lives and the lives of all our relatives depend upon it, because they do. But to love a place is not enough. We must find ways to heal it.
Most Unitarian Universalists value science. We usually understand that scientific facts are revealed by observation and analysis with the tools available at the time. When more evidence is discovered, the facts are revised accordingly. I have always been of a dual nature, part academic and part reluctant mystic. In my undergraduate studies at the University of Toledo, I wanted a dual major in French and biology. My first interest in science was botany courses that I loved. When I decided that I needed to make those courses count towards a major or minor field, I discovered that there were not enough botany courses at the University of Toledo for even a minor. So I had to take zoology and comparative anatomy in order for my botany courses to count for something. There were not enough education students for a track of comparative anatomy, so I was in a pre-med course with fellow students who had known they would be surgeons since second grade. It was a challenge. I did get a work scholarship as a botany lab assistant, which paid for my junior and senior year's tuition. And my botany professor liked my work so much that he urged me to sit the civil service exam so that I could be his lab assistant when he left University of Toledo to go to Washington, D.C. to research corn smuts. That was a road not taken for me. I ended up as a French teacher even before I had graduated. Biology is on my teaching certificate, but luckily I taught French for my career. French hasn't changed very much since I studied it, but biology has had revolutionary changes with new discoveries since I studied it nearly 60 years ago. My interest has continued by reading. When I discovered Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer, I finally found a science book which completely fit my dual nature. Kimmerer is a Potawatomi botanist, author, and the director of the Center for Native Peoples and the Environment at the State University of New York, College of Environmental Science and Forestry. That's a mouthful. As a scientist and a Native American, her work is informed by both Western science and indigenous understanding of how intricately we are woven into the web of all existence. The title is her metaphor, Braiding Sweetgrass, for the interweaving of Western science and Native American wisdom. Sweetgrass is a native plant, and indigenous peoples interweave it in order to make a smudging stick, and there's one down in front. She credits Western science for its patient, meticulous observation. She laments Western society's separation from the natural world, the spirituality and interdependence of all living beings. Because we do not see nature as sacred, we do not treat nature well. And that crass ill treatment is causing critical harm to our blue boat home. Our UU 7th principle urges us to respect the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. Yet sometimes our scientific approach leaves out spirituality and feels rather cold to me. That dual nature of mine has led me to the Sufi Universalist path as well as the UU path. One of my favorite Sufi teachers, Neil Douglas Klotz, is a linguist specializing in all Middle Eastern languages, ancient and modern. In his study of ancient Hebrew and the book of Genesis, he reveals that the passage which any of us from a Christian background read as, "And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let him have dominion over the fish in the sea, over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth." Genesis 1:26 through 28, King James Version, is badly translated. In the ancient Hebrew text, which has no vowels, he says Neil Douglas Klotz says, there is no preposition over. The only hint of a preposition would be with. Think how different the text is with that preposition, and let them have dominion with every living thing upon the earth. Dominion with recognizes our interdependence with all of nature. The earth could survive without humans, but not without trees or bees Robin Wall Kimmerer, who wrote the excerpts in the reading today, expresses so well how nature feeds and gifts us. She stresses that we should be grateful and should reciprocate the gifts by loving and caring for the earth. Even Western science has discovered much more about the reciprocity of nature. The trees and other green plants provide oxygen. We, in turn, expel carbon dioxide, which the plants use. Kimmerer speaks of all nature, trees, rocks, fungi, as if they are beings too. Western science has discovered that trees communicate via their root systems and mycelium, the basic form of fungi. This phenomenon has been dubbed the Wood Wide Web. Science and theology have not always been opposites, and now quantum physics and quantum theology seem to be on a similar path. I wrote in my sermon last year how much we have learned about fungi and lichens that have pre-existed humans by thousands of years, and how our binary system of classification needs revision. Some organisms have both plant and animal characteristics. Even our human body would not function without bacteria. I also mentioned that interest in psychedelic mushrooms has created a kind of kitchen science. When psychedelics were outlawed, there came an industry of kitchen kits to grow psychedelic mushrooms. Western scientific research has become very expensive. But some of these kitchen scientists discovered that mycelium, again, that basic building block of fungi, could be used to create leather-like substances, building blocks as strong as concrete, and biodegradable plastic-like materials. Some of these products interested IKEA and the US Department of Defense, which have infused some considerable dollars in these small companies that grew out of kitchen science. These new discoveries may truly give us the opportunity to repair some of our injuries to the planet by using biodegradable materials from plentiful resources like mycelium, the basic material of fungi, instead of carbon-based materials that are being depleted and also polluting our planet home. Well, what are we doing at First Unitarian Church to respect the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part? After a 3-year intensive process, First Unitarian Church became a certified green sanctuary, a UUA designation, on December 7th, 2011. The preparation involved the whole church. The staff and board did a complete review of building and congregation policies. There was a survey of all members. We had RE programs for adults and children. Recycling policies were established throughout the building. We had displays about ways to be more environmentally conscious in our church and at home. Gardens and grounds developed green policies such as planting native plants and composting to enrich the soil without harmful chemicals. We had a large committee working toward certification. Karen Porter shepherded us through the 3 years and beyond. She avoids the limelight, but I really do not know what we would do without her. So if you see her today, and she is here, please thank her. We have continued to increase our green consciousness. One of our biggest successes was the installation of our solar panels. This again involved many people in the congregation, including the late John Christensen, who worked in the solar industry. Our gardens are a large part of our ongoing efforts. Dave Murray, with help from Jarvis Gamble, Phil Teitelbaum, and Paul Hansen, has ambitious plans to expand and improve the accessibility of the Compassion Garden. Water is collected from the garage roof in rain barrels and a newer, very large collection bin. Unfortunately, Dave was seriously injured a week ago Saturday when his glove got caught in an auger. Phil Teitelbaum was there, wrapped his arm, elevated it, and took him to ER at the University of Toledo Medical Center. Judy and Dave had better news this week when they could finally see a specialist hand surgeon. There is no extensive nerve damage, and Dave can move his fingers, so surgery will not be required. The fingers are splinted, and while recovery will be 2 to 3 months, the full recovery is expected. The doctors and all of us are grateful, as it could have been much worse. The church board and the grounds committee have plans to hire a contractor to finish fence installation. Organic methods are used by the community gardeners. Some plots are still available. See Karen Porter if you are interested. Excess produce from the gardens is donated to Seagate Food Bank and So All May Eat Cafe in the main downtown Toledo Public Library. Several of our church members volunteer at same cafe on second Tuesdays. In addition to the Compassion Community Garden, we also have a native plant garden. Our rain garden is part of our Sacred Grounds certification and the National Wildlife Federation. With the National Wildlife Federation, Karen Porter also helped lead this project. Recycling continues to be encouraged in our building and our homes. Several members of our church take styrofoam to Ann Arbor for recycling. Mary Souther takes batteries to local recycling. Bring your batteries to the bin in Fellowship Hall. Check the FYI for details. I posted Toledo City's recycling events for this year and the curbside collections in some neighborhoods on our church Facebook group page for your convenience. It is a good motivation for us to declutter without adding to the landfill. Boy, do I need to do it. UU Action, spearheaded by Judy Pascalis, has arranged a program, Reduce Your Carbon Footprint, which is next Saturday, April 27th, from 10 a.m. to noon here at the church. A panel of local people will share ways that we can all reduce our carbon footprint. Our kitchen and potluck policies have been altered for pandemic safety measures. One thing we could each do is to bring our own place settings for potlucks and take them home to wash. It may seem a little less convenient, but it reduces our use of paper and plastic products. And taking them home to wash helps keep our kitchen safe and clean. If you do use paper products, check the recycle bins carefully for what can be recycled, and be sure to recycle what you can. First Unitarian Church of Toledo will receive the Echo Faith Community Award given by the Science Alliance for Valuing the Environment, that's SAVE, organization, on its award night, May 14th at the Franciscan Center in Sylvania. Founded in 1990 by a group of 4 women, and following the guiding principles of the Sisters of St. Francis, SAVE's mission is to foster a personal awareness and respect for the interrelatedness of ecology, spirituality, and sustainability. SAVE gives 9 awards each May, and the Echo Faith community the newest. We will be the second group to receive that award. When Sister Sharon Havilac contacted Karen Porter and Reverend Tim with the news about the award, she stated, "I have been impressed with your outreach and collaboration with other groups, as well as your environmental efforts. I was happy to learn that you received the Green Sanctuary status in 2011 and are continuing your efforts. Your website has one of the most comprehensive listings of environmental goals I've seen, and a wonderful listing of suggestions for your church members to get involved. We thought your efforts are a great example of integral ecology and deserved recognition. Good work, Toledo Unitarians. I will leave you with one more thought-provoking quote by Aubrey Marcus with a visual by Emily Feigenschuh. You are composed of 84 minerals, 23 elements, and 8 gallons of water spread across 38 trillion cells. You have been built up from nothing by the spare parts of the earth you have consumed, according to a set of instructions hidden in a double helix and small enough to be carried by a sperm. You are recycled butterflies, plants, rocks, streams, firewood, wolf fur, and shark teeth, broken down to their smallest parts and rebuilt into our planet's most complex living thing. You are not living on Earth. You are Earth. I am not setting myself up as a role model. I need to up my game also. So let us all recommit to caring for our earthy selves and all of our fellow beings on our blue boat home. May it be so.
Thank you, Judy. That was wonderful. And now it is time for our morning offering. We depend upon your contributions to be able to offer our vibrant programs. We do not pass the plate anymore, but there are several, several ways for you to give. You may aim your phone at the QR code that you see on the slide. At our website, uutoledo.org, you may click on Donate, Online Giving, and follow the directions to log in. Or you may use Venmo. Or you can mail a check to 3205 Glendale Avenue, Toledo, Ohio, 43614. On the back of the pews, you will find an envelope in which you may place your donation and drop in the basket at the entrance to the sanctuary. We are grateful for all that you give to this church. And now, you may join with us in singing hymn number 1064 in the teal hymnal, Blue Boat Home, as we contemplate our offering.
Still my dry heart can say
It's the coming soon part of our service, where we tell you what's on the calendar for next week. We give some announcements, and we also let you know what's up for right after the service. Please plan ahead for travel to church next Sunday, as many streets will be closed for the Glass City Marathon. Jenny posted a map of the marathon in the comments on Pat Church's post in our Facebook group. Next Sunday at 9:45 a.m., join us for Spiritual Forum in Fellowship Hall, when we will continue our viewing of the Unitarian Universalist series, Long Strange Trip. This DVD collection explores the history of Unitarian and Universalist thought and practice from the early liberal faith at the beginning of the Christian era to what we know today as Unitarian Universalism. Join us for a deep dive into our faith and philosophy. Then, for Sunday service at 11 a.m. here in the sanctuary and on our YouTube channel, Ginny Gottman will lead the semi-annual religious education service, Spiritual Spiral. We will play a game, crown our next Rexy winner, and perhaps also get some religious education.
Starting April 24th, blanket making returns to the fourth Wednesday of the month. This is still 10:30, the time is still 10:30 a.m. If you have questions, contact Mary Souther. On Saturday, April 27th, from 10 to noon, a local panel will offer expert suggestions for ways to reduce our carbon footprint. Don't forget to order your extra large hanging baskets for the Mother's Day flower sale. Forms are available and the sale ends May 5th. On Saturday, May 11th, 4 to 6 p.m., here at the church will be a fundraiser, Chicken Soup for the Soul. Book fair sponsored by Gathering Volumes, visiting authors Kelly Close, Dawn Hodder, Jennifer Priest Mitchell, and Andre Philpott. It's $8 dinner of chicken soup, bread, salad, bake sale, raffles, music, more. The final coming soon entry is for me to invite you to join us in Fellowship Hall after today's service for coffee and conversation and social time. That way, and then to the left if you're new.
As Pam extinguishes the chalice, we read together the words that are in your order of service and on the screen. Well, we'll go ahead and read. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And now, if you would join the choir in singing the postlude while Pam and I recess. It's number 131, Love Will Guide Us.
Open silence, lead the way. Shandy.